I must thank Dr. Ashish for conceptualizing this very important session. Because to my mind, after cataract surgery, intravitreal injection is the most common procedure which not only NDA segment surgeons, everybody in fact gives, whether they give infection, antibiotic injection or not, but everybody is fond of giving Avastin. Sometimes, more for non-scientific reason also. So, he has given me his standard techniques. How do you give this injection? This is my financial disclosure that I am a consultant to Novartis. The commonly giving intravenous injections are, although the top of the list is anti-VEGF, steroids, Ozudrex, infections, endophthalmitis, and also, these are also sometimes, although pneumo procedures are not so common, but they are intravenous injections. What I thought was we'll discuss something how to prepare a patient, what type of anesthesia we should use, how to inject, and what are the basic steps, and some words about modification. Informed consent, believe me, is a must, because any complication can happen with any intraocular procedure. And as is usual for any procedure, patient has to be explained what is expected from this. So a lot of people, you give one intravenous injection, anti-VEGF, day one, next day he's on your head, lots of fayda of worry, I haven't gained anything. So you have to tell him when will he expect a response and what post-op procedure he has to follow. And what should patient expect. And dilatation is a must, because if you try and giving without dilatation, you may not see the needle, and sometimes problems can happen. And what we do, what I personally do, I avoid xylocaine every time, because xylocaine causes axillopathy, and sometimes it has happened that you don't see much. If you have put too much xylocaine outside, it may cause problems. So I put only 1 drop of paracaine and 1 drop of betapine 3 times before patient is wheeled inside the operation theatre. So he's sitting outside with changed clothes as is usual. We don't allow any street clothes inside. So patient has to change as he changes for any intraocular procedure. Then I asked my helper to put 1 drop paracaine, 1 drop of betadine. This is done 3 times, irrespective, at a gap of 5 minutes. This is standard protocol which I have been following for last lot of years. Anesthesia, although you can have topical or gels are available, subconjunctival gels, so many, but believe me, topical works the best. Only in Ozudrex sometimes we started using peribulbar, but I don't give any cotton, this anesthetical gel. So for 30 gauge procedures, like Avastin, Lucentis or antibiotics, we depend only on topical. Peribulbar, sometimes I give if patient is very apprehensive. So if I have to give a larger bore injection, something like Ozudrex is 22 gauge and slightly painful in case you depend only on topical. And eye is not so stable, because eye has to be, Ozudrex needle is thicker, so peribulbar sometimes is preferable. 4% xylocaine is okay, but believe me, corneal toxicity is problem if you do not instruct your helper if he keeps putting xylocaine too often. So therefore I said paracaine is preferable. My personal observation is with paracaine pain is much less and less number of drops are used. This lidocaine gel, although it works, but there have been issues regarding, because it's a gel form, there could be entrapment of bacteria within that. Therefore, it's not generally preferred, and it may interfere with antiseptic action, because you can realize mechanically if it's anything gel which covers, so it may interfere with the antiseptic action of the betadine. Site is pars plana primarily because of the anatomical reasons, because it's avascular area, and haven't come across, touch wood, any patient who has had bleed or even minor ooze after this. We have had experience now of nearly 12,000 injections in our place between my group, retina management group, and haven't come across, but theoretically, believe me, this thing happen if you are in a hurry or if you don't measure properly. Sometimes I've discovered the calibers, 2 calibers may not be equal. You see, you buy from one shop, other shop, so you have to be very careful. Whatever is 3.5 has to be 3.5. You should cross-check also. Don't depend whatever 3.5. Without naming any companies, you have to re-verify sometimes. And quadrant generally is intratemporal, primarily for ease of access. Second best quadrant if I have to give is supratemporal. Nasal is last. A lot of people prefer supratemporal primarily because of the fears. Suppose some vitreous extraction or a break forms, So superior breaks are easier to tackle than the inferior. So sometimes people prefer superior, but generally inferior temporal is, and yes, temporal is better than nasal, and inferior is, because the visa is better than supratemporal. Distance all of you know, but this should, because a lot of people have started giving intravenous injections for ROP and other conditions, like I have recently given for vitiliform degeneration. So distances you should know, because distances are not the same in all the age groups. For an adult, anywhere beyond 6 years or so, the distances are 3.5 or 4. So preparation, my preparation begins outside the OT. So like I told, we generally have a couple of patients, 5-6 patients in a row. So all of them we change these clothes and put 1 drop Paragen, 1 drop betadine, like this. Patient is given a tissue. Usually you have to respect all patients, because nothing should, these are small procedures, often taken it very lightly, often given it to the junior person, which jaake into laga do 5. That is not, I don't, because I am very scared of these things, because most of them are seeing eyes. So you have to follow all these precautions. Equipments are very, very basic, but we do prepare a trolley as we do. I also change everything, gown, gloves, everything we do as we do for cataract surgery. But in the West, I myself have seen, I was in Boston, we saw that, the doctor walking in like this, he will wear glove and give. So, but in our setup, we drape everything, we change and drape everything. So these are the basic equipments required. Normally we don't use a tuberculin syringe, because the markings there are not so good. But 1 cc syringe is the syringe which has to be preferred, because marking here are very, very good. And steps, as I said, we clean, drape. Like this patient is being, after having put 3 drops of, Paragen and betadine, this patient is wheeled inside, is taken inside, and as the standard technique of draping, speculum is inserted. Initially we used to, put steady drape around, but that we have stopped recently because of practical reasons. Isolating lashes is not so much of a concern here. Then last drop of betadine is again put prior to injection. Pupil is dilated. 1 drop of Paragen, then lot of betadine. Then wash. This washing also, has to be complete, inferior fornix. Then show that this is an adult patient 4 mm. Even if a sister has given you, please re-see under the microscope, because 0.5 mm here and there can matter. And this could say, mark. And there could be various ways of 30 age. A lot of people in 30 age also follow 2-step technique, just to prevent the reflux. Because the reflux is generally not the vitreous only reflux. There have been reports that reflux contains the drug only. So just to prevent reflux, your wound has to be sometimes, 2-step. And don't take it right up to the hub. Mid-vitreous is good enough. Up to the half of the this thing is good enough. And now comes the key step, that how do you roll the swab stick? You see, swab stick has to be rolled over it. If you just take it out and then put the swab stick, it is not good. So needle is inside, take a swab stick and then roll over it, and both the hands have to work, in synchrony. In IVDA, because this patient already has because I cannot take up 2 injections without decompressing. So, and IVD alone I rarely give. So this patient already has had anti-VEGF, and now we are giving IVD, so therefore it has to be some degree of paracentesis required. So I'm doing paracentesis here, and after that, the dose of IVDA, what I give is 0.05 ml only. That is 2 mg, not the 4 mg. And here goes the IVDA. Slightly more rapid, this should be slightly slower actually. What is shown here is slightly rapid. Again, rolling of this swab stick is very, very important. Ozudrex is a 22 gauge needle. And after gloving, this is the Ozudrex system here. You take out that pin, and after that, this patient has been under topical only. In fact, this video is from Alargan. And then displace the conjunctiva, two steps. One is oblique, nearly 10 or 20 degrees, 30 degrees, and then turn it to 90 degrees, perpendicular. Go inside till that mark and gently press the button here. And a click of the sound comes, and that ensures that the pellet has gone inside. And again, roll the conjunctiva over it. This is very important, and I normally am very fussy in this thing, that once you roll over the conjunctiva, keep that swab stick over it for at least 30 seconds, not less. But after that, you will not find any bleb there, because if a bleb gets formed, that means some part of drug may leak. So you have to be patient enough. When so you poke inside, the scleral fibers get damaged, and for those to recover the memory back, my practical experience is 30 seconds minimum is required. So don't be in a hurry that put the swab stick and take it out. So wait for some time. Couple of important points before I conclude. Whenever you are preparing that one syringe, the needle, just open it just prior. I don't want you see needle plunger, you keep flushing like this because you are taking a lot of room bacteria inside and some microbe may get stuck. So whenever you have done everything, at the last step, take that needle and don't keep flushing those syringe needle. So just prior to giving injection, take a needle, and only motion I do is outside, not pulling it inside. So you should not pull any room air inside. Similarly, cap of the vial, as is shown here, is flipped open at that time only. It's not that you have, prepare the vial before it's lying. It may fall, something may happen. So at that time only you should do it. And this is questionable. You see, this is a vial of Lucentis. I have placed a alcohol swab over it. The reason we started doing this was because I visited this Novartis factory. The corking of this is done in an unsterile condition. Corking is not done inside the, you see what we saw the research lab, and all these vials of Lucentis are coming out. And once they came out, the corking was in the unsterile package. So we started that we should put some swab, alcohol swab here. And it is always better to, once you are loading Lucentis, along with this filter. Don't take with 26K needle directly into it. The filter has important issue of, prevention of microbe entry also. And as I said, do not draw back plunger of the syringe. A lot of people have this habit of, pushing. And inject injection very carefully, slowly. And change the needle. Whatever needle you use for taking the injection, don't use the same needle. I throw away the needle and have another needle. Because whatever goes inside has to be the freshest possible. It need not be, whatever you have used for withdrawing. And then prime the hub of the needle, so that there is no air bubble inside the vitreous cavity. So you, against the light, stroke the needle with your finger, so that all the air bubbles are gone, and slowly turn the plunger so that you see one drop at the tip of the needle, and then inject. Because a lot of people usually should not be saying, but within 2 injections they will get 3 patients just to save money. But a lot of these patients have air inside the vitreous cavity and injected. So I don't think so we should economize for the safety of the patient. 1 for 1 is good enough. This is also very important because I was reading in one of the magazines that doctors, take it very lightly. The mask is not properly covered and they keep talking. So there has been one report, published actually, that most common source of bacteria are the surgeon's nasopharynx itself, and they have isolated with typing done whatever bacteria they have isolated from that patient is the same as what a doctor has. So avoid as far as possible talking. You see, this is generally a lot of people keep loose talks, which is not acceptable. More important is giving injection, avoid talking, coughing, and sneezing at that time. Not only by doctor but also by sister also. So this is important. And if you are compulsorily, talk to at least turn your face on the other side. And avoid giving 2 injections from 1 syringe, as I was telling. It is prudent to have 1 for 1 rule. Also bilateral injection. I had one lady who was IDDM, both eyes. So people have a lot of guts and courage nowadays. They said, nothing happens, sir. Don't worry, sir. You are unnecessarily scared. So, but one case, this lady was given bilateral problem, bilateral injection. So nobody can, excuse you for that. If it does not happen, that means God has been kind to you. So that does not mean kindness will prevail forever. So even if, for whatever conversion, you have to have separate sets of instruments. small modifications, only 2 slides. For triamcinolone, you have to shake that crystals well. Somehow the preservative-free triamcinolone, frankly speaking, does not work as well as the routine tripod what we inject. And this has to be shaken, and what I tell my person is shake at least 20 times. It does not, otherwise it may settle down again. And before withdrawing from the vial, once you have taken in the syringe, again shake the syringe also. 26 gauge needle you have to use with 30 gauge needle gets blocked with this. So the last, once we take the 26 gauge needle, I change needle to fresh 26 gauge needle. And if you use smaller bore needle, 27 or 30, they get blocked. So what I have found is 26 is the best for tripod. And technique here generally is 2-step. But 26 is slightly wider compared to 30 gauge. We go oblique and then perpendicular. The advantage with this is that reflux is not there. Ozurdex also. All of you know that Ozurdex contains 700 micrograms of dexamethasone, and the size is 6 into 0.46 millimeters. And it comes with injector as I had shown. And the steps I had shown, important one is that retract the conjunctiva. So that once your conjunctiva comes back, it's covering it without the opening, without the hole in the conjunctiva. And 2-step, as I said, click, hear the click of the sound. And very important to do in that, you should see the pellet inside. You should be able to see with depression the pellet inside. So just to conclude, internal injections should not be taken lightly. They have to be treated like an intraocular procedure. And as I said, do it in the theatre with all the safety precautions. And follow-up is also very important. Our regimen at Center for Sight is that we necessarily compel the patient to come on day 1 and then day 3, because most of the end-off will happen between 3 to 5. And then 1 week, 2 weeks. After that, we write SOS also. If you have any issues, you should immediately report it. For end-off, it is obviously most frequent, but for anti-VEGF, this is the schedule we follow. End-off, we have to see very frequently. This is one patient who, not from our place, but was referred to us after Avastin. Doctor said that this is fresh vial of Avastin had opened, but unfortunately, this patient developed end-off. Could not save this eye. Could not save this eye because end-off was very, very virulent. You can see the picture when he presented to us, full of hypergram. He did undergo vitrectomy, but functionally could not improve. Another patient who had, after Ozurdex, just trying, I'm not trying to scare you, but this is what can happen if you take procedure very, very lightly. Follow all the precautions, whatever I am sure Dr. Ashish has listed there, and prevent complications. There are problems with monthly injection. Believe me, risk of end-off is there. The bacteria size is much less than even 30 gauge. So whenever you make any opening, it is open for bacteria. So just take all the precautions and minimize all the complications whatever best we can. This book, I think, he will give it to everybody. Thank you very much for listening.